Guys, let's start with reconciliation. I know it's less interesting to some people than trashing Politico, but it's a huge deal. And we saw yesterday, last 2 days really, Lindsey Graham. You go ahead and put up the headline. Lindsey Graham is now basically saying, with permission from John Thune and some officials in the executive branch, we're not waiting for the House to fight about one bill or two. We're going to put forward a separate bill that deals not with the taxes, but deals with border and defense. Um, if you look at the recent history of Washington, the way a lot of stuff gets done is the House, and this is true with either party in the majority, the House dickers and bickers, and then the Senate jams them by passing a bill and sending it to the House and saying, take it or leave it, because if you change it, we have to either ping pong back and forth or go to a conference committee, which never happens anymore. In any event, the president continues to not be clear where he's going. As everybody, we've said before, tomorrow night, on the eve of a big Republican Senate fundraiser in Florida, they're having dinner with the president at Mar-a-Lago. So this drama of making some tactical and strategic decisions about how to proceed is going to play out at the White House at 11, but then in the days to come. Dan, how will Republicans solve this?
Donald Trump has got to, or get off the pot. He has got to, well, ultimately he is going to have to weigh in and endorse something, because for people who don't understand, when you do reconciliation, the speaker or the committee chairs get instructions to cut or raise revenue a certain amount. And the reason that Graham wants to do energy and immigration, and I think some defense spending, is it's apple pie within the Republican Party. It's not going to be a huge amount of money spent. Therefore, they can try to find cuts that will, offset it to make those who care about debt and deficit happy. The problem is when you go to do a tax bill, then a second reconciliation bill, it is going to be a huge deficit spend, or they have to find $1 trillion of cuts that will go into very politically sensitive areas, because the Freedom Caucus will not vote for anything that doesn't have significant cuts. And what that means then is, if you want to get the votes, you got to go to Democrats, or Donald Trump has to crack heads. And so I think in the short term, Lindsey Graham will do probably what he's going to do. The House is going to keep saying this is a disaster. And Trump has to either tell the House, this is what we're doing, and you all need to get on board for 1 and 2, or he's got to tell the Senate, to back off. I think ultimately, at some point down the line, Donald Trump has to lead his own party to victory. It's the only way or they have to come to Democrats. And the problem is, what are we going to ask for? Undoing some of Musk's cuts or certain spending things. And then you're going to get even more Republicans who say, forget it, which means you need even more Democrats.
Sean.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, Donald Trump knows what he's doing, which is not putting himself in the middle of something that he doesn't have to. He's going to let this play out and then choose which side works. But he has no problem pitting them against each other. And there's a reason that Lindsey Graham is sending budget instructions the way he is now. By the way, after 3 years of the budget committee, I finally realized that I can now have a use for all of that information that I never thought I'd do anything with. But
what are you doing with your trigonometry? You using that?
I didn't take, no math, no science, but 3 years at the budget committee. So I said this yesterday, the Senate is going to jam the House, and they're going to sell President Trump, at Mar-a-Lago tomorrow and say, hey, we're ready to go. You're going to put points on the board. You're going to get big wins in these issues. You're going to have border security. And Trump's going to say, all right, keep going. He's not going to stop them. He's still not going to take a side, but he's not going to prevent them from moving forward. And the Senate is going to actually get the train moving down the track and dare the House not to go with it.
And one thing that some Freedom Caucus members are saying is, we will vote down that Senate bill to force the Senate. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, again,
until they can't, right? Because what happens is the Senate knows that as soon as Trump starts seeing, oh my gosh, I get all this and I get it today, right? This isn't the layaway program. This is, I get to actually put it in the House today, install it, and worry about it later. he's going to be excited about this. And then the House guys are going to walk in and say, well, wait, if you could wait till midsummer, we'll get a tax bill. No way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then Trump has to lean in. He's got to go to the Freedom Caucus and say, shut up and do this. He has to do it. Because Speaker
Johnson, just so you know, I had Jim Jordan on my show last night and put the question to him. And he said, I don't really, my preference is this, but I don't care. These guys are not, at least some of them, maybe Chip Roy and a couple others, but they're not saying no way.
Sean, right there, but just stop. They have a 1-seat majority. So Chip Roy alone. Yeah. So if you had
I get it, but that's a difference. But Dan, you're absolutely right. But there's a difference between Chip Roy winning him over and maybe adding some sweeteners and cutting some more in government and winning over the Freedom Caucus, which normally votes as a block, right? Then you got to win 12 votes over or 15 votes over. This time, yeah, I get it. You might have to win Chip Roy individually. But I think that's a lot easier. And to be honest with you, I'd rather deal with Chip Roy one-on-one, who I know is, hey, if you can cut enough of government and get enough in savings, he'll be with you.